Hi, everybody. Welcome to our podcast thing that we're doing. We're called the KMDcast. Saying the name out loud is way worse than reading it. So.
It's spelled so fancily, like.
But it's spelled KMD for I guess the three of us. So I guess it's cool in that way. And Black Command, the most tilting card in DBZ for 6 sets. So.
Nah. When you really think about it, it sounds hard. Like I'm about to start saying KMD every time before I start rapping now.
Right, KMD.
People will not know what it means, but it sounds strong.
KMDcast. That's better.
Yeah,
KMD
right.
Gaming. There we go.
KMD.
Right. KMD. Another one.
See?
That's right.
That will start every cast.
Gotcha.
KMD. Another
everyone after this one. Another one.
All right. So if you guys couldn't tell, I have some co-hosts with me. There's Wayne. Hey, Wayne.
Yo, what's up, everybody?
Wayne's talking to the internet, and then
that's right.
Hey, Frank, what's going on, man?
Hey, what's up?
So
I don't want to be rude. I want to wait for the internet to respond to Wayne.
Nah, bro. Yeah, like I'm looking right past Coombs. I'm talking to the people. What's up, world? How you doing today?
You are the people's champ. I'm pretty sure. So.
What's really cool is you're talking to the people in the future. Isn't that kind of neat?
Damn.
Talking to them in the future from the past. Listen to in the present.
We're totally like the Flash right now.
That's right.
So, anyway, I guess we should introduce ourselves, a little bit about ourselves. I'll go ahead and go first so we can get the longest part out of the way.
That's right. We'll have the humblest person go first. So.
The humblest person. Hi, so my name is Matt Combs, but everyone calls me Coombs because that's the easiest way to pronounce my name, and it is the phonetic spelling of how you would pronounce my name, but for some reason it's not. I'm pretty good at this card game that we play. I'm most known for the phrase telling people to get good, and top cutting 6 out of 8 regional appearances, getting a Worlds invite, 3 top 4s, 2 top 8s, and top 16, all within the 2016 OP season. I think I'm more so known for deck design and not really playing, but I guess I got pretty good at playing last year, and so yeah. And
it turns out
I'm coming up on a year straight of being better than Scott Dashy. So
are we celebrating?
Yeah, we're coming up on it. The Fargo Regional was the start of my reign last year, so I have to look up the date of that and then mark it on my calendar so I can have a big celebration.
Bro, we should have a get together for that shit. Real talk.
Dude, for real. Look, you're being better than Scott Dashy. We should invite him.
Fucking Scott Dashy ball.
Yeah, we could just have him on the cast, right? Talk about all the times you've beaten him or done better than him.
I mean, I have never had the pleasure of beating him because he never wins any games, so he doesn't get to play me.
I'm sure there's some logical explanation to why you guys have never played each other. The universe just won't let it happen.
It's true. It would be pretty.
Well, he's just Dashy's kryptonite apparently. So
every tournament we go to, I'm pretty certain he just hates seeing me.
You just walk in the room. He's just like, I'm so weak now.
It's like that movie. What was it? Hancock. When the 2 superpowers get close to one another, they get like weak, but that doesn't happen to me because I'm not a little bitch. So real right now.
Bang.
Right.
I guess we should also point out that you are also known for being the shit poster extraordinaire on Retro at this point.
Oh, I was also on the Brewcast recently, so that was fun.
Yeah, that is true. I didn't get a chance to watch that live, unfortunately, but I did go back and watch it, and it was actually pretty exciting.
It was. I mean, I'm the celebrity to ever be on that show, so it makes sense. So.
Yeah, boy, I was calling you Senor Chug. Because the time would go off, and you just like, oh, shit.
I drank the entire 6-pack that night, so I was feeling pretty good. So, I guess since I've talked a lot about myself, Wayne, you're next.
I mean, you really didn't talk much about yourself. You kind of just talked about Scott Dashy, but whatever. What's up, everybody?
Thank for him.
What's up, everybody? I'm Wayne, a.k.a. The Kid, a.k.a. Your Mother's Favorite, a.k.a. Where Tien at, though? You know? I've been playing this game for quite some time, since it started, and I've had pretty good success. I don't keep my numbers and shit like Coombs does, but I've been in a couple top cuts, and I like meeting new people. You know, I made a lot of friends, i.e. these guys, and
whoa, that's deep.
Also a part-time rap god.
Yes. Yes.
Should be full-time rap god, but life gets in the way.
Life. See, you get it.
Yeah,
you get
I do get it. Yeah.
I think we're gonna have to have you freestyle on the show at some point.
Wait, I'm always ready, son. You know what I mean?
We should build up the drama some. We'll just wait, and we'll just start an episode. It'll be dead silence, and just break into something insane. And people will be like, "What did I just listen to? What is this?"
KMD, we the best.
KMD. I'm really gonna start saying that shit.
You should. You gotta get that's called targeted marketing for our podcast. Just get everyone to start saying it.
We're gonna have hoodies and shirts and shit. It's gonna blow up. Watch.
Dude, it's gonna be huge.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. All right, Kreitz, talk about yourself.
So I'm probably the person that's played the least in actual events for the game, but I have run both Virginia regionals. I'm the guy who writes and runs Fantasy Warriors Gather. I was also on the Brewcast, although mine wasn't live, so it's not as exciting. We did talk about Black, though, and how it needs love, and it's definitely getting some, so that's good. And then other than that, I've just been a cardboard aficionado for the majority of my life.
Dope. Kreisman is also the author of the Fantasy Warriors Gather blog.
Yes, that is true. I did say that.
Yep. I'm just reminding people. Pay
attention. Pay attention, KMD.
Well, it's better when Matt says it, because then people actually pay attention to it. They're like, oh, all right, it's interesting.
Yeah, you said it. They're like, what? He said, oh.
I didn't get it when he said it, but when Matt said it, now it makes a lot of sense.
All right. So I guess enough about us. We can talk about some current events that are not so current events. I don't know, because everyone's really hyped around previous season. I think everyone's kind of forgotten about Set 8 Celestial Tournament meta. So I guess we'll go over the events that transpired real quick. So East Kai, winner was Josh Duquette with Sane Empowered Budget Broly. There were 34 players. And then, Kreitz, you have the Style MP and breakdown?
I do. So let me go over that real quick for everybody.
Sure thing.
So this was where we all started kind of clamoring for Black to get some support, because there was officially 0 players at East Kai playing Black of either mastery, which is kind of depressing. Mm-hmm. Blue had 7 players. We had 0 protective. We had 1 tag team Android 13. 2 Resolute Brolys, which are currently in the cast with you right now, with me and Wayne. We can tell you how great that deck was today. 2 Resolute Gokus with the Awakening stack, obviously. 1 Resolute Cooler, 1 Resolute Future Gohan. Then we had 8 Namekian players, 2 Knowledge Gohans. I don't have the breakdown, but I'm assuming they were either a mix of Awakening and Future Gohan, or just solid one or the other. I'm not sure, unfortunately. We had 1 Knowledge Cell player who was playing Awakening. We had 4 Restored Gohans. Of the majority was Future Gohan, but I believe there was an Awakening Restored. And then there was 1 Restored Cell, 0 Radiant players. Orange, we had 5 show up. We had 1 Adaptive Yamcha, 2 Awakening Adept Gohans, and 2 Awakening Retribution Gohans. And then for red, we had 5 players, 1 Ruthless Frieza, and then we had 4 Ascension players, 1 Android 19, which I had the joy of playing against. It was actually kind of cool. 1 Ascension Cooler, 1 Ascension Yamcha.
Turtle.
That's right. 1 Ascension Yamcha, and then 1 Ascension Master Roshi. And then we had 9 Saiyan players, 4 Empowered Gohans. I believe they were mostly Awakening. 3 Empowered Brolys, 1 Empowered Raditz, 0 Rampaging, and then 1 Dynamic Broly.
All right. So, with all that being said, who was the most popular MP at that event?
So, of the numbers here, I think it was Gohan. Let me just double check real quick. So we got 1, 2, 3, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 15, yeah. There's 15 Gohan, so there's no one that's going to be closer than that.
So it was half Gohan.
Yeah, which is kind of crazy to think about. Oh, yeah, I guess we didn't say, but there were 34 players at that event as well. So definitely having half the meta being a single MP of different stacks, but I mean that still has to say something about it.
So, Matt, going into the event, did you kind of expect to see that much Gohan?
If I'm being 100% honest, you can even, we can bring Kreitz in. We sat down Thursday night, and I was just getting my thoughts together for the tournament, and I honestly I was preparing for Orange and Goku, which led me to my deck choice and what I picked. But I know that Restored Gohan's a really good and solid deck, but I just thought people were going to be playing mostly unfair decks for the most part.
Right.
Because I thought they were going to take it more competitively.
Right.
Yeah, and I think we all kind of had that mindset, because I know I went in. We like Matt said, we play tested a ton of different decks leading up to the actual event itself, and I decided to lean on Resolute Broly because I just expected the meta to be big on Orange, big on Goku. Broly has a decent matchup against Goku. He has a great matchup against decks that are board heavy. It just wasn't the case, really. Like, there were some, but I didn't run into them, which was unfortunate. I don't know if you ran into the board-heavy matches for your Resolute Broly, but it was a lot different than I expected.
Absolutely, man. The field looked nothing like what I imagined it to be. Like Matt said, I expected to see a lot of Goku X and Orange X also, and that just wasn't the case. And I think it's one of those things where everyone knew what was the best deck, and they played the deck that went against that deck. Just to such a heavy degree that the results were just not what everyone expected.
Yeah, and I think the three of us have talked about that before too, where like we probably should have realized, like we've talked about this on a bunch of different places, about how the East Coast tends to be more competitive in nature in card games in general, not just DBZ, but in all things basically card game related. And then assuming that people were going to play the meta choices instead of the counter meta choices was probably false logic on our end. But it's hard to tell because the game had recently gone through like its transition to Fantasy, like how many people were still keeping up with what the big decks were, how many people were just playing what they wanted to play. It's hard to anticipate that kind of stuff, especially for like an event like that with so many people.
Right. For sure.
Yeah, definitely. So I think we've talked about this before, but the lack of Orange and Goku, I don't think that we think that it was the real meta. I think it was more so just the overreaction of the East Coast meta. Right?
Which is really cool because games can get stale or stagnant when people just play the best deck all the time. So the fact that there was an event that was that large that wasn't the case is really exciting because it brings a lot of MPs that might not be so popular as played to the forefront. So it reminds you that, there are more MPs in the game than just Gohan, Goku, and, whoever's popular at the time. So that's really cool that people are still being innovative in this game.
Yeah, I think
go ahead, Chris.
Well, I was just saying, I think FanZ is doing a fantastic job of keeping the meta kind of up in the air. Like, every time they add in new cards, they're making sure that they are hitting the right end of the meta, which is the decks that need help or the decks that didn't exist until this card came out. And I think that that's a great way to keep FanZ going strong and, hopefully for the foreseeable future, because as long as we keep buffing decks that could have potential to be good instead of just nerfing decks that already are good, that only means that the meta gets wider, right? And I think that's like a great way for them to handle that.
Yeah. So what do you guys think if the game was still supported and we were still seeing regionals and competitive play? I'm pretty certain we all know the answer to this, but do you think that the meta would actually be more true to the way the game was designed in Set 8? Because the way the game was designed in Set 8, like, Orange was far and away the best style.
Yeah.
So it's like, do you think that if we had a real competitive scene that you would see almost like kind of a big three where it was like Orange, Retribution, deck, probably Saiyan Broly still because it's a good counter, and then still Namekian and Gohan? Do you think we would just have a big three again?
You want to go first, Kreitz?
Well, all I'll say about it is I don't know if it necessarily would be a big three, but I think those would definitely be the headlining strategies. Again, it comes down to just like what you expect. If you're talking about like Set 8 in a vacuum without like the fancy stuff, Obviously, Orange is by far the best deck you could probably be piloting with just like set 1 through 8 cards. We've all seen it. I'm sure most of us have played Orange. It does silly things. If we're talking about with Fan Z, especially with Future Gohan, like he's an amazing counter to so many decks. Like I could definitely see him being part of the overarching meta going forward pretty much indefinitely for like high-end tournament play.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think you're not like I don't think you're off by saying that those three would be like the head runners, I think. And again, it all comes down to as well, like Goku's like a weird issue. We've all talked about it. We've seen it being talked about on Retro. He definitely could be like the 4th spot, like just Goku X, but it really just depends on how the tournament scene around him like kind of develops. So,
you know, honestly, I think it all hinges on, well, like we said earlier, I think it has a lot to do on where the event is. You know, because like we said, the East Coast players are a lot more adaptive when it comes to like, you know, gauging a meta and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I also think that since this game's inception, they've done a good job at like there not being one deck that's just the best deck in the game. There's always at least 2, 3, 4 decks that pretty much will rock paper scissors each other, which is really, it's impressive that they've been able to do it as long as this game's been, you know, in this game's history.
Mm-hmm.
You guys can all agree to that, right? Like, even in the beginning, you had Piccolo, you had your Ginyu, you had your Krillin, and that went on for a while, and then Cell came, but Cell kind of lost to the more aggressive decks, but there's never been one King of the Hill. Am I tripping? Am I overlooking something?
No, I think you're right. I think that
if Cell would have never been nerfed, then I think you could have saw a best deck for a while if he would have never been fixed, because he was, aside from the TN matchup.
Yeah.
Which I mean, you could hedge. Like, there's ways you could play that matchup, but aside from that matchup, once Cell was able to get going and restored and just get to level 4 and then continue to loop, like, it was a really, really hard strategy to beat. So, I mean, I remember going to ARG Pittsburgh, and there were so many restored Cell decks there. Like, they were just everywhere. Like, and it was just so strong. And then it got nerfed, and then it got brought down to earth, and then Red Enraged Roshi became probably the best deck in Set 5 at that time.
Mm-hmm.
And
then Set 6 really shifted things. So,
yeah.
I don't know. But
well, I think, I think you went on saying that you thought Set 6 was probably the best set for the competitive meta, like, period, right? I think you've gone on record saying that multiple times. And I don't think you're wrong at all, like, thinking that, so.
Yeah, I mean, you just look at all the decks that were top-cutting events. Like, there was so much. Like, yeah, you had your consistent performers because they were just played a lot. But like, there were so many viable decks in Set 6 meta. Like, it was insane.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Cool. So that was East Kai. So I guess we'll talk about West Kai real quick. Oscar Liu won the event with Namekian Restored Gohan. His build was a little bit different, though. He played Ally level 1 and then Future level 2. And then there were 28 players. And then, Kreitz, you have the style and MP breakdown for that as well?
Yep, I do. Let me go ahead and pull that up real fast. So, yeah, like you said, there's 28 players. We had 4 black players this time. There was 3 Perceptive decks, 1 TN, 1 Tau, and 1 Awakening Goku. And then 1 Conflict Vegeta Awakening stack. Nice. We had 4 blue players, 0 Protective, 1 Tag Team Piccolo, which was the premier set, which is interesting. Then we had 3 Resolute players, 1 Android 20, 1 Yamcha, and 1 Awakening Goku. There were 4 Namekian players, 0 Knowledge, 2 Restored Gohans. I don't have the breakdown for that, but I would imagine that it's probably either Awakening or Future Gohan. If it might be a mix, it might be 2 of 1. And then 2 Radiant Future Gohans. There were 7 Orange players, 0 Adaptive, 2 Adept Awakening Gohans, and then a large amount of Retribution. There were 3 Retribution Android 13s, 1 Awakening Goku, and then 1 Frieza that was the Fanzy level 1 with the golden level 2. We had 3 red players, 0 Ruthless, 3 Ascension, 1 being Trunks, with the Awakening stack with the Evo level 3, 1 Awakening Goku stack, and then one Frieza with the same build of the new level 1 and golden level 2. And then finally we had 5 Saiyan players, 2 empowered Broly, 2 empowered Trunks with the same build of Awakening stack except for the Evolution level 3, 1 Rampaging Awakening Gohan, and 0 Dynamic.
So, with that being said, you said we had 5 Broly decks, right?
Let's double check. 2. No,
I'm sorry. 5 Saiyan.
Yeah, there's only 2. There were 5 Saiyan players, 2 of which were Broly, 2 were Trunks, and 1 was Gohan.
Okay, so do any of you find it interesting that there were only 2 Broly decks after the results from Iskai?
Yeah, how many orange decks were there, again, that you said?
There were 7. I think Orange actually had the most showing that time.
So Orange had the most. And I think the top 4 was like 2 Orange 13s.
Mm-hmm.
It's possible. Unfortunately, I don't know the top breakdown. I only know who the winner was and the actual players themselves.
Yeah. I know that Retribution filled up that top cut pretty well.
Yeah, I would not be surprised given what we've talked about with Retribution. So.
Yeah, that is. I know that there were some people that played Radiant Gohan, they had talked to me about the deck, and because they saw that I did well with the restored build, and then I guess they switched it to Radiant and kind of ran into some issues with that. So I know there's 2 people for sure playing Namekian, but there were only 4 Namekian decks total.
I believe that was correct. Let me double check.
Yeah, well, it's pretty interesting. It's pretty interesting though that one of the 2 restored builds was the one that actually won the event.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it shows you that it saw the favorable matchup, which its favorable matchup actually is Orange. Whereas if it would have probably saw Saiyan Powered Broly in the finals, it probably doesn't go so well.
Yeah. Well, it depends, right? Because the guy who won was playing Ally level 1, right? So you might be okay as far as stage pressure because you can kind of move that damage around the board, but it all depends on what the Broly player sees early, right?
I mean, that's tough. I mean, with 3 spin kicks, 3 eraser cannons, 3 tantrums, 3 legendary strikes.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying it's an easy match. I'm just saying it's definitely possible. Well, I'm not saying it's yeah, but I'm just saying it's definitely feasible that if the Broly player sees less of their board control than the Gohan player sees their board, which they can tutor 1 every combat, it could go either way, I think.
Oh no, man! There's a lot of bullets in Broly's gun.
I mean, that's fair. I mean, there's a reason why you and I played Broly, right? So.
Yeah, I was gonna say he got guns on guns on guns.
I legitimately just named a 5th of his deck in cards that kill allies.
Yeah.
So, do you guys think that this was a closer depiction of the meta? I mean, I still think it was off because I think Saiyan was underrepresented as well as Namekian. But do you think it was closer to true?
You know what? I do think it was close because it's again, Iskai there being that little orange it was mind blowing. No one was ready to not see orange at that tournament. I think it makes things interesting going forward because now it's okay, I know what the best deck is, but I don't want to have Iskai 2.0 when no one plays that deck. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Personally, it changes my process of choosing a deck because from going forward, I'm going to play what I think is good for me.
Yeah.
You know? Because obviously you can't call this shit now. It's too random. You know what I mean? I think you could just pick one deck that you like, and then one deck that you like does good against, and then just take the invent for what it is.
Yeah. That's I mean, that's kind of the advantage I had of choosing the future Gohan deck that I played was I picked a deck that hedged against 2 certain decks, but it was also a deck that was pretty much 50-50 against everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I always lean towards decks like that because, honestly, I have people that can attest to the amount of variance that I experience within DBZ tournaments. So
yeah.
I don't like to play a high variance deck at all. So I just play something that's 50-50, and if I can make the game go long, I usually rely on decision making to win. So I think going forward, I would just continue to do that, but then also just not hedge so much towards beating other decks, but just kind of just make my deck as solid as possible.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
for
sure. I think Wayne's right too, because knowing now that the turnout for events is going to be much smaller than the game used to be, If you just go playing a deck that you enjoy and that you know well, instead of just playing a deck that you're expecting a particular meta, you're probably fine because you don't really know like how many people are going to show up, how many like of the same decks are going to be there. So it's better to just go with a deck that you know the ins and outs of and just hope for not terrible matchups. It just kind of like sets up that sort of like any given Sunday kind of scenario for yourself where it's just like, I went in with an MP that no one plays and I did really well because I just know the ins and outs of him. Like, and I actually like that a lot. I mean, people who read my blog have to see like the random decks that I put up all the time, and I think this is finally like the sort of meta where that kind of decision making really benefits you a lot.
Absolutely, and it's funny because this is like one I've played a lot of games too, but this is the only game where like someone will choose an MP and act as if no one else is allowed to play the MP that they choose.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't understand that shit. Like, they'll win. Like, for instance, if someone goes and takes an event with fucking 19, right? They're like, okay, I'm the 19 guy. Anyone that I see playing 19 right now is just a poser, and he's not as good as me because I'm the guy that won with them first.
Yeah.
Like, as soon as you win an event, you can just go take everyone's 19 stack from them, and you're the only one that has it.
For what it's worth, in that scenario, I would allow it because I want to see someone play 19 and win an event.
You're gonna, if you're the 19 guy that wins the tournament, I don't care. I will give. I will gladly do all 756 copies of Android 19 level 1 through 4.
I will mail you all my like. I'll mail you all my foil like 19 cards. You can just have them. Like.
It's crazy. Like, I've never experienced another game where it's like that. Whereas you do well with the deck, you just get pissed off when other people start playing the deck that you did well with.
I never. That was never a thing for me. Like, I did like setting a trend, and like I liked being able to kind of like impact the meta in a sense where like people started either playing the deck or started thinking about the deck more.
And that's cool.
To me, that was a point of pride. Like, I mean, like, and that's when I got to do the whole cool thing where I went on the Dragon Ball Radio podcast and I hyped up Black Cooler, said it was the best deck in the format, said I didn't really think it had too many weaknesses, and the following week at Georgia I played Blue Tag Ginyu from the West Coast. Like, because I knew everyone was just going to, the meta was going to be Black Cooler and Enraged Cooler with some Saiyan Broly sprinkled in, and I was just like, all right, time to play Ginyu because Ginyu shits on Cooler. Like,
you straight went in there and planted the seed, right?
Dude, yeah, that's like the funnest part to me of this game. Like, playing games is great, but like building decks, helping shape a meta game, talking shit, like that's the best part to me.
And I think there's definitely like some pride to be had for being like the forerunner in a deck concept, right? Like we've all seen everyone get into like pissing contests on Retro about like, well, I was playing Black Roshi before his stack was printed, shit like that. Like,
that was me,
OG Roshi.
Yeah,
dude.
but then
Christ,
I can understand why
you were there.
Yes, I was there. I saw you playing it.
But what I'm trying to get doing it right now. That's doing it right now. Stop.
Yeah, what I'm trying to get at is like there's definitely like pride to be had for starting that trend, right? Like you were excited you got to explain that like here's Cooler, here's his strengths, here's his weaknesses, and whether or not you actually like piloted the deck or like played it. The point is, like, someone got to look at you and go, like, you know what, that's a good idea, and it started a whole trend. Like, I think people wanting to be that trendsetter, especially in a game like this where, like, style and flair kind of, like, dictate everything for the community, like, there's no harm in kind of chasing that brass ring, right? Of being like, I'm the guy who started that whole conversation. Like, I think that's kind of admirable. It gets bad. It can definitely degenerate quick. We've seen it happen, but like having that thought process and going like, I'm going to take this MP that no one thinks is good or thinks is just okay at best and prove them wrong. I think that's a good line of thinking to have for this game.
Yeah, for sure. It's just crazy. It's crazy what it can do to a person. It's like a drug almost.
It can be, for sure.
Because
DBZ is that game though.
It is. That's why
we're still talking about a dead card game that's not supported.
You know what I'm saying?
Dude, somebody's got
to talk about it, bro.
I know it's alive enough for me, and I'm sure it's just as alive for you guys. So.
Dude, no. I was talking to you the other day, Kreitzman, where I told you, like, I think the best part about the game now is that it's free to play.
Yeah, and I think that can reach out to a lot more players, like, especially with, like, you and I had this conversation, like, neither one of us enjoyed Octagon when the game was alive, but now that it's in the Fan Z mode, it's actually, like, really nice to play, like, people online, and you get to still see, like, the community, people still building new decks, like, you get to talk strategy with people, like, I do it all the time in games when I'm playing people, it's fun.
Yeah. Shit's crazy, man.
Dude, it is. This game is so good.
Word.
Wired.
Yeah.
All right. So topic number 2 on the agenda for us: discussion of some set 9 cards.
What's
so some set 9? What is it called? What is this set called?
It is Legends. Yeah.
Legends? Man.
Legends. Yeah.
Man, they clever little shits. Legends.
Little bitches.
Little bitches. They're the creative dames and shit, man. They're so smart. All right. So I guess we'll go over the MPs. So I guess we'll go over. I mean, should we do the MPs first or last? Because the MPs could take us some time.
I mean, it depends. I don't think we have to go like a card by card breakdown of the MPs. Just kind of like their strategy. So it's really up to you guys what you want to talk about first. I mean, there's a lot of exciting things to talk about. So.
I think we should only do the MPs. I don't think the name cards and all the styled cards are like worth discussion because it is what it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I will say, if you aside from the MPs, let's just do this. We'll each pick one card. Like, what's the one card that you've seen previewed so far that's not an MP that you are the most excited to play? Wayne,
got it.
You got.
Got it. Definitely got that Tien Solar Flare, bro.
Yo!
Tien Solar. For all of you who didn't know, in the Set 6 meta, I ran this aggressive-ass Black Devious Tien deck and top-cutted a couple of events with it.
And your triple-sleeved bullshit deck that I would never, ever shuffle. I mean, because it was ridiculous. When I say it killed people in 1 or 2 turns, I lie to you not. The card advantage was just insane. Cards off the top, destroying cards. I ran 3 of Surprise Attack, and I knew that they would kill my Tri-Beams, and I would just get them back because I ran 3 Defiant Challenges. So I was just Tri-Beaming all day. It was awesome. But enough about that. The addition of this card is in that deck I used to play the black card that does 3 life cards, and you get to choose a card and banish it for the turn. The name Destructive Beam?
Destructive Beam, thank you.
Yeah, Destructive Beam.
I used to play that, and what this does, the Solar Flare isn't styled, but it just fills that slot in a better role now because you got the effect off the top, you got a little bit of endurance, and you've also got more damage now.
Yeah.
So and it's searchable on level 1, so.
Yeah, that secondary effect's gross too.
Yeah, man. So obviously Devious isn't here anymore, so I probably am going to move on to Resolute. Sure, I don't get the attacks off the top, but you have other forms of card draw in the form of guard and leverage and shit like that. So I feel as though the deck is going to be strong, and it's a great addition. The Solar Flare is insane controlling the board.
Dope.
I think it's a good one.
What about you?
It's hard for me to pick just one because I love writing obviously about everything like that comes out. I think the one that you and I talked about the most was the new blue drill. Recuperation drill.
Yeah.
So I think that's really cool because it brings back an archetype that we haven't really seen a lot of, the like copycat sort of deck.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's really cool. Like, there's obviously other cards that are going to help benefit that, but that drill to me is just. I want it to be like that little nudge in the door that makes like certain cards like actually worthwhile again. Because we've had the copy blocks since the game came out. We've had the, the card from, I think it was set 3, that if you copied an attack, you could draw a card. Like, all these cards that have just been binder fodder for, like, everybody just sitting around doing nothing. And, like, now I kind of hope that having one extra piece for that copy deck, like, makes it worthwhile. Like, and not even just for, like, the villain deck, because obviously villains have the overpowering drill where you can make your first copy, you can't be stopped. That obviously will probably be more where the decks go, but I think there could be room for a hero version if they give it something along the same sort of line.
Bryce, are you kidding me? Like the first thing I see when I think of like the copy strategy is that Hero Vegeta, the Evo Vegeta.
Yeah?
I'm sorry.
Yeah, free discard.
Yeah, bro. Because anytime I've ever ran the copy blocks was in that deck, and it was decent.
That's fair. I can see that for sure. Yeah, he's definitely not the MP that usually springs to my mind right away. But saying it, yeah, I think that could be really cool. So it gives you that card advantage that he really was looking for. So that could definitely be an exciting deck to explore moving forward.
Yeah, sure. Hero Vegeta is like Aquaman. He's you're just waiting for that opportunity when his ability becomes extremely relevant, and when it happens, it's going to be really good. And I think with Resolute Mastery, he gets the free draw card. With the copy effects, he can get the free discard. I think that is going to be just cool because it's going to allow for you to have more meaningful choice because it's, do I want to use my reveal effect for the drill or do I want to use it for my mastery to see an extra card? And then you get in those really unique situations where sometimes you're going to pitch the blue card to draw 2 cards and then you're going to recuperation and get that free attack. That's going to be super strong. So you netted 2 cards, you picked up 2 actions. That's insane. So there's a lot of unique plays with him now.
Boys and girls, go read Evo Vegeta again. He might be real.
It might be time to finally dust him off.
I'm officially going to get proxies with Aquaman on them instead. So,
you fighting at the beach today? Oh, shit.
That's right.
It's my time, baby. It's my time, baby.
I hope you like Starfish, because if you don't, you're going to be really upset at what I just did. The card that I'm most excited to play with, and the one that I'm dreading playing against at the same time, Amphibious Exploration Drill. That card is going to have such a unique impact on the game because it's a new form of control that fits into aggressive strategies, and it's really that one thing that needed to push aggressive decks outside of Saiyan over the edge because you can afford to put that drill down and then take that turn off and knowing that your opponent's board's not going to explode because they can only play 1 card.
Right.
Which I think is awesome. And then again, me, I'm a super techie, control-oriented player for the most part, so I'll be pretty upset if it hits the table against me because, again, that's just going to do a lot of work. It's going to make it. Any card that introduces more decisions into a game, I'm the biggest fan of, and I think that card just requires a lot of decision making to be made by both players. So I'm excited for that card to be in the game. I think it was. I don't know if we were still playing this game at a really high competitive level, I would hate that card more than anything. But since the game's definitely going more towards being combat focused and combat centric, that I'm a huge fan of it being in this iteration of the game.
Yeah, I definitely think it should not include Dragon Balls. It's a real shame that it does.
Actually, I think that's cool. Again, it's just meaningful.
Fuck you, bro.
Yeah.
This is coming from the slug player, I guess.
Yeah, right. I'm trying to play some balls, bitch.
That restored mastery where you get to suck one up from the bottom and keep one in your hand.
Oh, this is so dope.
Ruined.
Well, I gotta say one thing about that drill, and I think you and TDA talked about it some on the broadcast. That drill is gonna see a beautiful home in decks where they can put their drills and their board cards in during combat. So
Trunks at 20.
Yeah, so Trunks 20, red decks, possibly
Orange
even blue
decks.
now with that new blue energy pack. So you're gonna be seeing, I think, a lot more of this drill than you are prepared for.
Yeah.
So honestly, how many people do you think are gonna sleeve this guy up? How popular do you think the drill will actually be?
I don't think it'll see play at first. And I think that's just because it's one of those cards where a lot of people just don't necessarily see the value up front. Until they sleeve it up in playtesting, drop it against somebody, and it's just backbreaking. That effect is City in Turmoil level type effect. It really is.
Yeah.
It's crippling to anybody that wants to be a control player and play a setup heavy deck. So I like it. I like that it has a filtering effect. I wish the filtering effect was a bit stronger. But I do like that it's filterable, and I like that it's limit 2 per deck instead of limit 1, because if it were limit 1, then it probably wouldn't see play. And it makes Tree of Might more relevant too, because getting Tree attached and then being able to tutor that drill out is going to be pretty exciting for a lot of decks. So I'm a huge fan. And now Tree of Might becomes a viable target in pretty much any Unleashed deck now, because you get to play that drill in tandem with it. So
seriously,
I'm pretty. I was gonna say, one of the things too, talking about Tree of Might real fast, is I think you're going to see a lot more lookout drills in people's builds too, especially with like the way that some of these new personalities that are coming out are set up.
Kami's gross.
So like Tree of Might, which had like a huge showing, when Saiyan attachments were first like starting to really catch people's attention, kind of like fell off, but I think we're going to start seeing a lot more of it again, just because of the nature of where the meta could be growing, which is exciting to me, because I always thought that both Tree of Might and Lookout Drill were really awesome cards. So I'm kind of excited to actually be able to put them in decks again.
I don't know, man. I think this drill is in a weird space because a lot of the decks that want it are also changing levels, so it's not going to be able to stay out for very long. But I mean, like Matt said, it's only good for keeping you on pace with the decks, not being able to like drop 3 setups or drills in one turn. So it keeps you in a prime position to go in and be on a level playing field. So that's cool.
Yeah. Definitely, for sure. So that's why I think it's going to be impactful. Even if you just get it down for that one turn, you get to kind of keep yourself safe from getting blown out by the slower deck. So I think that it's a really cool card to have in the game.
Man.
So now that we've gone over our favorite cards that we're excited to play with, I guess we'll go over the MPs. So we'll start with God. We'll start with God. So Kami, Drill, Dragon Ball, mill-based MP, pretty unique. Wayne, what are your initial thoughts on Kami so far?
Like, my arms were in the air, wailing, arm inflatable 2-man thing. When I first saw this card, each level's got so much text, and the more text you have, the better the card must be, right?
This is true.
I mean, in this game, it definitely works out that way.
So I think that it's going to take some time for people to figure it out, because initially people were all about it, and then I guess some kids sleeved it up, started playing with it, and just didn't give them insta wins. And they're like, oh, it's garbage. But I just think that it's going to take time to really delve into what Kami's really capable of. But I think all those levels are very, very strong.
Yeah. I've actually, me and Matt, we've been testing kind of in secret on Octagon with each other, trying to smash our heads against some of these new MPs, and Kami I'm very excited for him.
Me too.
I have come up with 2 different lists for him. One I posted on the blog, which was, I believe it was Black Conflict was the build I put up, and then one I've been testing on Octagon, which was Red Ascension, and they have both seemed really powerful. I think that this MP is going to catch a lot of people off guard, because you won't feel like you're losing until you start checking your deck count. Because both times we've both, on the receiving end of playing against Kami, multiple times for me and Matt, have gone, what is my deck at? Like, from doing nothing. Like, we've blocked attacks, like, you don't feel like you're losing, and then suddenly you realize you're like 20 cards under where he is, and you don't know where it went.
Earthball 3 being half of a Namek 7 each time it's played on level 1's pretty okay.
Yeah.
Like, just milling your opponent for 3 outside of combat is strong.
For 4, you mean? Yeah, 4 is insane.
Yeah, like I did that to you yesterday.
Yeah, you did it 3 times to me. It felt really bad.
In the same game. That's 9 damage I got to just do for free.
Yeah.
My initial impressions, the only deck that I've played him in so far is my build of Red Ascension, it's different from Kreitz. I don't do some of the cute stuff he does. Mine's really boring. Like, I just want to do the thing. Like, I just want to do the thing and just try and win. But my initial impressions, like, I think he's a really strong MP and really unique. Being able to shuffle your balls back in for the extra value on level 1, and then being able to search for a style drill, and a style like red, Namekian, blue, black. Every style has relevant drills that he gets access to on that level 1, which I think is just really strong. And so his level 1, in practice, I originally thought his level 2 was pretty amazing, but playing with his level 1 alone is a really strong level to be on, just playing any game. So I was impressed there. I haven't tested him outside of Red yet because I think Red is the one style that has probably the highest potential to be really good once you get into channel surfing drill and speedy drill and then all the mill you can produce there. I want to test him in, of course, the Namekian builds because I think that's where he's going to probably be the most consistent because Namekian just does rejuve and ball tutoring, especially earth ball tutoring like crazy.
Well, especially now with that new Namekian drill, right? So now you get to double and triple dip on all of your milling.
Yeah, that's pretty good. But yeah, all of Kami's stack is really powerful. And he's super unique. So I'm definitely a huge fan of Kami so far.
Do you think his level 1 is strong enough to maybe think camping on 1?
Yeah.
Or do you want to get to his higher levels?
No, I definitely think that you could camp on level 1 and be happy.
Yeah.
Just being able to, again, a lot of people just don't realize how good shuffling a Dragon Ball back into your deck is. The more times you get to use an effective ball, the better. And then being able to tutor a style drill for shuffling the ball is really strong. So, and as we talked about before, there's a lot of really good style drills. And then the mill just stacks up. Stacks up so fast. But yeah, I think all of his levels, they all synergize really well. I think you want to get closer to his 3 and 4 in Namekian because you can run Leaping Kick. But I think there's a lot of decks out there that just want to stay on his lower levels.
Nice.
Yeah. Cool. Any other thoughts on Kami from anybody?
His name cards are good.
Oh yeah, his name card. Kami's Focus Beams is so good.
What the fuck, man?
Yeah, well, one thing that just popped up in my mind is, do you think he's actually going to see play in Orange? I saw people talking about the shenanigans you can do with Welcome Drill with Focus Beams, and I'm not talking about that. It's the fact that you're now adding an extra 7 to 10 non-combats. Can Orange really handle adding more of those?
I think it can.
Yeah.
You think so?
Absolutely. It absolutely can because it would do kind of what Orange 20 did in days past. But the thing is that it synergizes better because he's got cards like Focus Beam that are going to push real significant damage with upside. You know what I mean?
That's fair. And you do get the benefit of checkup, right, on top of your name drill. So now you're really just rejuving like crazy. So maybe, yeah.
You got all that. You got the Devouring Drill to jump up if you want to jump up, and
I honestly really like sitting on level 1, maybe an adaptive. Because if you're playing adaptive, it's really neat about Focus Beams too. Is I'll Focus Beams, I'll go get an Aura Drill. So now Focus Beams energy attack doing 8 life.
I think it's more, bro.
It's pretty. It's
2, 3, 4, 8.
Yeah, you're right.
It's 8. Yeah, 8.
It's an energy for 8.
Yeah, man.
That's not too bad.
That seems good. And then again, and it places it into play. And then another thing about his level 1 actually searches for the drill and plays it. So if you wanted to devour, his level 1 will let you devour.
Yeah, I didn't. I don't know if I noticed that or not when I first played it. That is definitely something to think about.
Yeah, I mean, it's just he's got so much synergy in adaptive.
Yeah, and then now he has, the level 2. The level 2 will then be in crit range because it'll do 5 life cards now, and it automatically just has Capture a Dragon Ball on it. So Orange Kami Dragon Ball, pretty feasible. It's not like Garlic Jr., where Garlic Jr. basically would end up not winning a game because it would get to level 3 and then not be able to steal Dragon Balls back.
Right.
Whereas Kami's always going to be able to steal Earth Balls.
Yeah, I think too the dual win condition is more real in Kami than it was in Garlic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. So.
I'm definitely excited to see what people do with him. Having messed around with it now in 2 different styles and talking about the potential in the other 3, I think he fits really well in everything, and that's what's going to be really cool to see just what people go I'm focused on Dragon Ball, but I have this other cool little mini drill package, or if they go the extreme like we did, where you're really a drill deck, but you have a Dragon Ball sub theme. In Red, it'll be really interesting to see what extreme people go to with him, or if they just try to find a mid ground on everything, because he's like we said, he's good at Dragon Balls. He's good at drills. He's good at rejuving. He's good at being an energy deck. Like, he has all these things going for him. Like,
yeah. And we were talking yesterday, when we were playing the red versions, like, we were both sitting in combats where we were doing, like, 3 to 5 actions without playing cards from our hands.
Yeah, without playing a single card.
That's insane. Like,
yeah.
Like, it's fun.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's necessary, because that's what you need to do right now to keep up with some of the other card advantages from decks that are being played now. So, like, it's funny that you can do things like that, but it's kind of a necessity if you want to play at a higher level, you know what I mean?
It really is.
Yeah.
I agree.
Especially with, like, MP that could lean on being more passive. Like, you've got to be able to find the engines that make your deck work while trying to deal with those, like, passive win conditions. So.
Yeah. And, I mean, all Con wants to do is just touch you. He just wants to lay his god hands on you.
Dirty old man.
That's all I do, man. He's such a nice guy.
He is.
All right. So, next MP, Bardock.
Dad.
That's right. Daddy.
Daddy.
The other character that looks like Goku in the show.
That's right.
We have 3 total. There's Goku. Actually, there's 4, because of Goku Black. So many Gokus.
There's a lot. There's more than one Goku.
All right. So, initial impressions of Bardock. Wayne, what you think?
Man. It's like, he does a lot of things, too. But I feel as though in order to be successful with Bardock, the skill cap is going to be really high. Like, there's... you look at him and you think he's sculpted for black, but he has synergies in other styles, too. But I think he was just a tool to be used with black, but in order for him to be successful, it's going to take a lot of, tinkering and 2-ofs and maybe even 1-ofs in your deck to finally get to the point where you feel as though you can compete.
Yeah.
He does a lot of different things. Like, his, I feel as though his stack isn't as cohesive as Kami's. Mm-hmm. A lot of his different levels do different things. But I think that level 3 is the sweet spot for sure, and his named attack is awesome.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Spirit Javelin, the card of much discussion on Retro. What does this card do? What does it not do? Can it do this? Maybe? I don't know.
I just want it to do the thing the card says with the immediate effect. Why can't I just do it? Please. Imagine if, like, in the game of DBZ, if actually cards did what they said they did. I wonder how the game would be.
Alive, I think.
Kreisman, what are your initial thoughts? I mean, you've played against me a lot.
Yeah, I've played against your Bardock builds. I have 1 or 2 of mine. I definitely agree with Wayne that the skill cap to make Bardock run smoothly is going to be pretty high. I know a lot that we've talked about is that Premonition, while it looks insane on paper, in practice is not that great in a control build. Which feels like it should be, because like Fact or Fiction, which is like the card it's sort of comparable to in Magic, is insane in control builds for that game, but for this game, it doesn't do enough for control. Like, you're letting your opponent see your answers early, and it's just, because you don't get to hold on to those answers for as long as you can in Magic, it's just not as good. Like, it seems like the card should be busted, and it just kind of is a thing you can do, which is neat.
Yeah.
I know we talked about, like, Premonition in aggressive builds, which I'm sure you're going to go over with your thoughts. I think that is probably where the card will shine more, because now your opponent's like, oh, here's 2 more attacks. Awesome. I didn't want that. But like, I agree, his level 3 is the insane level. Like, you get so much value. You get to rip your opponent's deck apart. Like, you don't have to attack anymore if you don't want to. Like, there's so much crazy stuff you can do once you get to that level. It's capitalizing on your lower levels prior to getting to 3 that's going to really make or break a good Bardock player. And I think that's like what you were saying, Wayne, with like having certain silver bullet cards for certain situations is really going to matter in that deck, like that deck list, because you have to have so many things doing so many particular things in your early levels that finding the sweet spot of numbers is going to be hard.
Yeah. Yeah. So my thoughts from playing with Bardock for a few days now, and I like really testing, really tweaking. Black almost feels like a trap with the current card pool that lies in Black, because your deck's going to be forced to go in multiple directions in order to, because the thing is, like, you want to level in Bardock. That is how you're going to be able to win the game. Because every game that I've played with Bardock, if I've gotten to level 3, I've won that game.
Yeah.
Without a doubt. And so when you play Black, the issue is, how are you generating enough anger? Like, level 1 you have whenever a player searches your opponent's life deck, raise your anger 1. Like, that's a cool effect. But, like, are you truly dedicating that many slots to getting more search effects? And if you are, like, your opponent, if they're an aggressive deck, might just outright kill you, because you're entering combat with a Black Scout maneuver, and then they're throwing a gut kick. Like, one thing is better than the other in that situation. And then otherwise, I think his level 1, like, just his power, I think is a decent power. Making your opponent reveal their hand is a strong effect, and then searching the deck for a card destroying it's a strong effect. But his level 1 leaves a lot to be desired. It has great synergy with cards like Black Swirl, which, I love that combination. But being on Bardock's lower levels is never going to win you a game. So that's my initial thought there. His level 2 is also an issue. His level 2's effect doesn't generate enough anger, because, like, now it's like, do I want to mill my opponent? Like, my level 1 wants to search their deck, but my level 2 wants to mill them. So now I'm building two different. I'm essentially, I have to build 2 different decks if I want to maximize on 2 different levels. I was going through Black cards today, and I read Black Confinement. Look up this setup from, like, set 6, or no, set 5, and I was like, man, Black Confinement is insane with Bardock level 2, but it's really bad with Bardock level 1. So it's like, how many copies do you play? And his level 2 power is good, but it's a 1-for-1. I discard a card, you discard a card, so it's almost like semi-devious, but his level 1's not generating any additional card advantage for you. Like, you're just trading a card for their card. Yeah. Where there are other MPs that are able to generate extra actions off of their powers. And his level 2 has definitely been like the hole. Like, there's games where I just get stuck there, and then I just lose. But the best Bardock deck I've played so far has been Dynamic. The reason why is because starting on level 2, you're going to unleash jump away from leveling, and you just get a Tracking Blast attached on your level 3, and then you just go to town. Like, you just start ripping their deck apart. And I would just, my end game is Saiyan Rapid Fire, so I would just strip their energy blocks and then just keep Rapid Fires in the deck with Saiyan Drive-Bys and Rescue, and then just essentially, throw unstoppable attacks and win the game that way. So Dynamic has been the most consistent for me so far. Name cards, Javelin's great. Premonition felt only good in the Saiyan deck because the Saiyan deck was only running like 10 or 11 dead cards. If you're running more than that, Premonition starts to feel really bad. It felt really bad in Black. Except for those random times where you revealed the discard trigger cards, but then your opponent, could set up weird piles for you.
Yeah, and we had that happen when we were playing, where, like, you had a bunch of, like, discards effects. Okay, well, I'm going to put all those in the same pile, and now do you want to just have 3 cards in your hand, but they're not that great because you didn't get their effects? Or do you want them to be on top so you can get their destroy effects, but then you didn't get as many cards in your hand? There's weird things. Likewise, too, I played my adaptive Bardock list I put together to try to capitalize on those lower-level effects, and every game we played, I just threw Premonition away. I never played it. Like, every time I had it, it just felt awful. And it's just one of those things where, like, if you're trying to play the more passive pokey game with Bardock and try to capitalize on his early levels and then really make his level 3 your win condition, Premonition's not really going to do anything for you. Which seems very strange coming from being a control player in Magic, where, like, a card like that you are so excited to put in your deck, and to come into this game and see the same effect and go, this card is not very good. It's really, like, kind of putting me on, like, it's spinning me on my head.
Word.
Chill.
What's good?
Chill. Yo, this is my dude. Like,
Fur!
like, instantly previewed. I was like the first one to comment on the post because I've been hyped about his release ever since I knew. Yeah, dude, I'm a huge nerd. I got the post. It was like, David Fashbinder posted in retro, and I was just like, let me get that shit.
So you messaged me on Skype like instantly the second it dropped. You're like, yes!
Right switch! Shield! OP! I'm trying to pull him back up. Here we go. Just so I can like go over his stack while we're talking about it.
Just so you can get mad hype while you're looking at him.
Yeah, dude, I got a chubby right now. It's 15. I think I'm wearing my stretchy pants.
That's right.
So, I guess I'll start with some initial thoughts, and then we can start talking about it. Like, let's just talk about his level 1 real quick, like,
and how insane it is.
So, constant, we all know your attack, steal, life card damage is stages of damage instead. Power, it's a instant. So use after your attack deals 5 or more stages of damage. That attack is considered to deal critical damage. Raise your anger 2. Power, Rejuve 1. You may draw a card. If you do, discard a card.
He's insane. That level is nuts.
So I think when you look at this card, the first thing you gotta talk about is the card art. This motherfucker is warning you. He's like, bro, I just need 5 stages. It's going fucking down. Like, look at it. He's like, yo, you see these fingers? When I do this many stages to you, you're going to feel it.
I do like that his level 1 is probably, like, the best art in his stack. So, like, when you sit down, you're just like, oh, fuck. I gotta play this.
Best level 1 art in the game. Like,
yeah.
5th. My man chilled 5th.
Who's 5 best rappers of all time? Chilled. He's Booker T 5 times. Sorry.
That's right.
He's about to do the spinner pretty right now. That's what he's about to do. In the card art.
Nah, but he's retired.
Yeah, I mean, this is... no, go ahead. Go ahead.
All right.
Well,
not
all I
only
was
does
going to
this
say was...
stage damage back to the forefront.
Sorry.
No, go ahead. I'm going to do it again.
No, you do it. I've been talking a lot. Go for it.
All right. So not only does he bring stage damage back to the forefront, which is something that really needed to happen in this game, because, you know, there have been times where you can just play that stage deck and you just get walled by a control deck and you can just never do real damage to your opponent. And it kind of makes you not want to build those decks. But this brings a whole new aspect and dynamic to that because you get benefit from just doing stages even if you per se don't get them to 0. You know what I mean? And being able to convert life cards also adds to that engine. So the fact and the cherry on top of that is that you get to fix your hands when you might not draw a hand that's ideal as, you know, for the situation that you're facing. So I think that's all really, really, really good, and it's something really fresh. It's something that no other MP in this game has right now.
Thanks.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree. Like, I was gonna make the same point. Like, I've written multiple different articles at this point that stages just don't matter anymore. And Chilled goes, "Oh, don't they? Are you sure?"
Yeah. Word, son? Word? What you say about stages?
All right. Well, if you don't care, I'm just gonna hit you a little bit and tell me if it matters or not yet. One of the things I really like too is because, and we can go into too with more of his levels and stuff. Because he seems like he's an MP that wants to just level like crazy. He fits in a whole bunch of different decks. I think you can play him as an MPP deck where your opponent's just afraid to call combat on you because you're critting them way more consistently than they can you. And now they're like, well, do I call and let him get a bunch of anger and then I might get crit just because he threw some physical attack that I don't normally care about? How do I deal with this? Do I have to hold certain blocks just out of fear that I might get crit? I don't know. And the one thing I'm excited with is he might actually be an MP that makes red threatening drill good. I don't know if you remember that drill.
I do. When you level, you can banish it, and then all your attacks do +3.
Do +3, yeah. And all of a sudden, for him, it's just oh no, everything that it's basically having more shoulder grabs in your deck for him. You're just oh, +3. I'm definitely gonna start critting you now. Here we go.
Dude, homie is shoulder grab.
Yeah.
Homie is shoulder grab, bro. He's about to grab your shoulder with the hand. He's warning you again. He's like, yeah, little bitch, come here, give me that shoulder, yeah.
Come here, man. Bend over right quick.
Let me touch that shoulder.
let me touch it. Let me touch that booty.
Oh, man.
He's so good. Yeah. So as level 1, that's a lot of text, which of course means it's actually good. He has like 3 times as much text as Bardock does, so that's pretty indicative on the power levels of the one-on-one of the level 1s if you think about it. Like,
yeah.
Level 2, chilled space pirate.
Let me get that booty.
He's about to plunder, that's for sure.
He is. Your attacks deal lifeguard damage and stage damage instead. Your attacks deal +1 stage of damage, so damage modifier. Physical attack, raise your anger 1, rejuve 1. This attack is considered to deal critical damage. Damage, 5 stages, doing 6 with the modifier.
Yeah, AKA 6, yeah.
AKA crit.
That's right. Also known as crit.
Shit's crazy. And again, like the level 1, you have anger on the card, so it lends really heavily to the MPPV strategy. So that's again something not to, sweep under the rug.
Yeah.
His level 2's face like, so you think I was playing?
You thought now that I was off at level 1 that I was going to stop. Big mistake.
Bad boy
reference. It's like he's creeping. Like he shows up in his robe. He's like, yeah, what's up, babe? You called me over here, right? Yeah, we're going to watch a movie, right? And level 2, he's like, oh, you thought I was playing. He comes out the robe about to get that butt.
Tired. Like, yo, girl, let's get greased up. Wrestle. Let's do it.
He definitely looks like he's about to take something from you. That's what I'm saying.
He's going to take something. That's for sure. That's for damn sure.
Oh, man.
Let's get that.
Level 3, the name.
It's pretty great.
She keeps saying no. Now he's angry even further. He's pissed now. She's basically a rapist, bro.
I think you're right.
Real.
But that's too real for me. I don't know if I can handle that.
So, chilled level 3 power. Again, so much text. His level 3 is like after image technique. Like, your attacks deal their lifeguard damage as stage damage instead. Your attacks that deal 5 or more stages of damage are considered to deal critical damage. Whenever you use a critical damage effect, you may raise your anger 1. Physical attack, raise your anger 1. Rejuvenate 2. Damage 6 stages. Hit, banish an opponent's set drill or ally.
Jesus, dude, that's so much.
He's disgusting.
Again, anger all up in this card.
Yeah.
His level 3 is Enraged Mastery.
Yeah, so the fact that he has basically Enraged built in is so nuts.
Yeah. That's, I mean, I don't know, like, that level just does it all.
Yep.
It just does it all.
Really good.
Do we know if they're going to make the ruling where if stages can, because I see people talking on that thing where stages converting to life cards are no longer stages of damage?
Yeah, I know we talked about that earlier. I don't know. I think so, right? We talked about that. Where like if it converts, it can't like convert back or counts as stages. It's weird.
So let me fill in the people at home. So let's say you're playing Chilled, right? And you got your opponent at 0 stages. You do an attack that does 5 stages, right? So normally if they had stages, the 5 stages would just be straight and you get the crit off. But since they're at 0, does it still count as doing 5 stages? Or since when they start taking life cards, can they apply that endurance?
Well, interesting, because then you'd have to... if you want to make Chilled work, I think as intended, he's still supposed to get the crit off the life cards, but because if you look at the precedent of Blue Resolute Mastery, where basically like stages end up converting to life cards when they're basically prevented like that, so you end up getting to prevent the full 8, like, that's interesting. But at the same time, because Blue Resolute says you prevent 4 and 4, and so if I did a physical for 8 and you're at 0, you prevent all of it, so that means you still prevented 4 stages. So I still dealt stages of damage to you at 0. Actually, that precedent actually may end up being beneficial for Chilled.
Yeah, for sure.
And then also, if you think about the damage calculation step, like, when you have Namek Ball 6 out and I do a physical attack for +4 and you're at 0, you're getting the -2 mod for stages, but not life cards.
Ooh, that's true.
Yeah, so I guess it works. It basically works the way you want it to, is what it
Good.
sounds like.
That's the way it should.
I think it should too. I mean, otherwise, not a bad thing, but then battle pausing would see more play to make your opponent gain 5.
No.
Let me get you back up. I'm gonna punch you in the face again, though.
Let me get that crit.
I need that. All right. His level 4, his constant ability is nuts. His actual power is meh, but
it's okay.
Your attacks deal life card damage instead of stages, of course, and then your attacks that deal 2 or more stages are considered to deal critical damage, and the personalities cannot be more than 5 stages above 0.
Again, let's talk about this art. It's literally a thrust.
He's about
thrusting it. He's in the process of taking it. And he's sweating a little bit, too.
He thought I was playing.
Or crying, one of the two.
We ain't playing just the tip. We're playing all of it.
Plays to win, is what you're saying.
We playing all of it. We playing where to go.
I'm going to show you where it is in a second. Give me a minute. And then,
chill real good.
Yeah, and then his power is gain 3 stages, choose a personality and play that personality, loses 3 stages. I mean, I guess that's more relevant with, like, the personalities can't be more than 5 stages above 0.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I still think the level 4 power is just, I mean, but I'd rather his hole be on level 4 than, like, on Bardock where the hole is on level 2.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, I mean, is it even really, like, that detrimental? Like, the fact that your constant effect is insane on level 4 definitely makes up for it, right?
I don't think, but I mean, his level 4 is obviously his worst level.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair. Is it worse than, like, yeah, it probably is.
It's
not really helping.
Level 2 has the power that's crit.
Definitely.
I think he has the same thing with Bardock, right, where, like, 3 is, like, his best. Like, at least to me, it seems like 3 is his best.
But level 2, like, you're never getting wall breakered if you're playing Chilled.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about that shit at all, which is amazing. Which is what we've all been kind of, like, praying for since Wallbreaker printed in set 2.
Just Peter says nope.
Yeah.
He's like, so? Stop, don't break these walls anyway.
Dude, Chilled is Chris Jericho. Man, he's so many things.
He's so many things.
Breaks the wall down, bro.
That's right.
All right. Name card. Speaking of which, his name cards have 15 endurance between them if you play all 3 of them in your deck.
That's reasonable.
Yeah. So Chilled's Enraged Volley. I think this is the most exciting one. Energy attack costing 1 stage, raise your anger 1. Whenever your opponent MP changes levels this combat, so whenever they change levels, you set them to 0. And then whenever you use a critical damage effect this combat, choose personality and play. That personality loses 1 stage. Damage 5 stages. Hit. This attack stage is played to be used again.
Yeah, man. Anyone that's ever played Nappa's Energized Charge knows the power of your opponent leveling and them going to 0.
Yeah, all I was going to say is poor Nappa, his Energized Charge has been, like, outclassed by so many things now.
Really has.
Do you think that Chilled, the introduction of Chilled now makes Nappa obsolete?
Nah.
I don't think so.
Nappa.
Yeah,
no?
It does so much damage. Like,
Clinch is still a card.
Yeah, and I think his new level 2 is like nuts. So
I like his new level 2.
I think he'll still see play for people who are like dedicated to playing him.
Good.
Man, Chilled though.
Chilled though.
That Chilled though. He's just that card's just so good. I like it. It almost makes me want to play. It almost makes me want to try him in blue, so I can play all the cards that raise like a player's anger, like just to like level them.
Just knock him this year and be like, well, interesting where we're at now.
Interesting turn of events here.
Yeah.
You still get the modifier from like you were talking earlier, like before we got on with like if you get biting drill out, lifting drill out, and resolute, you're doing +4.
Yeah. It's cool because it's like it's the same thing with orange too, right? You get like joint restraint, you get
or drill.
Yeah, so like I guess it's slightly different. You have to with that new card that counts as both. Woo.
Energized. That's what I call it. Orange energized. Push your shit in like that.
Yeah, that's what you call it. Yeah, that's definitely what it's going to be doing with Chilled.
That card is disgusting with Chilled. Like,
yeah.
give me all that. Give it all. I want it all, baby.
Card just walks over, hands you a bar of soap, and then slaps it right out of your hand immediately. You're gonna need to pick that shit right up.
Reminds me of that old school John Cena promo against Brock Lesnar, where he goes, "We in jail, Brock, and you just dropped the soap." Like,
okay,
right? He said that. It was pretty cool. But yeah, no, his name card's gross. Okay, second name card. I'm trying to figure out how to pronounce the second word of that.
It's prescience.
Prescience. Chilled prescience. Now, we might have to edit that out. I'm going to get yelled at so much.
Okay. No cut.
I wanted to say, the thing is, like, when I first saw it, I wanted to say prescience. Like,
that's how
it's like omniscience.
Yeah.
And have the whole retro community saying pre-science.
Yeah.
Pre-science, KMD.
Yeah. We should now have like a gaming supplement, and we should call it pre-science.
Like some wild ass energy drink.
KMD superstars Wayne, Matt, and Kreitzman. They take pre-science before they sit down to brew decks.
Put it on a t-shirt. Let's go.
Pre-science. You're not just playing the game. Good at the game. Pre-science. For life.
Yeah.
We also need to, the next event we all go to, we should wear shirts that are like on the front, KMD, and then on the back, Power Stages Matter.
Yeah.
I would definitely rock that for sure.
Gen Con is going down. Don't even worry about it. I'll handle everything. Just give me your shirt sizes.
Dope. So Chilled's prescience. No, Chilled's pre-science. I'm going with
pre-science. Yeah, we just went over this.
Pre-science, bro. All right, so it's Endurance 3, which is pretty okay. After performing a successful attack, you may discard this card from your hand to draw a card. If you do, that attack is considered to deal critical damage.
If you want to draw a card, I guess this can also crit. That's what that card says.
Well, I guess I want to crit and draw a card. It turns any successful attack into a cantrip critical. Like what?
We're probably doing 2 crits off 1 attack.
Yes. What is? It's DBZ's version of every good magic cantrip.
I'm lying. You can't. It's not doing, because at that point the attack would already be doing critical damage, right?
Yeah, it's only 1. Yeah, unfortunately. But the fact that you're just like, oh, I can just get a free card off of this because you didn't block. Okay, that seems fine.
Turn this into something else. And then the actual effect of the card, which I think this card could be blank except for the parenthetical, and it would see play. Like the card could just be a parenthetical effect. Like.
Mm-hmm.
So, power, Rejuve 3. Choose a personality in play. That personality loses 3 stages.
You know what, like, the effect of the card itself isn't really that bad. Like, it's not great, but I can definitely see situations where you're going to want to do it anyway. Especially, like, against Kami, against Bardock. Like, you're going to probably want to be rejuvenating some stuff.
Rejuvenating 3 is not... That's no laughing matter. Like, that's strong.
Yeah, that's an actual number.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, Chill's just good as fuck, man. It's crazy. It's really cool because like it doesn't like pigeonhole you into like just physical attacks. You can straight run an energy attack and just convert everything.
Exactly.
So like when you get to run.
You know what I realized? I just realized Chilled is Bruce Lee. He is just this tiny, small package of fury, just ready to knock your shit out.
If Bruce Lee were a rapist, he'd be Chilled.
That's right.
Shit, word. That shit's crazy. He's just trying to Netflix and chill, bro. You know what I mean?
That's right. Netflix and what's up?
There's so many jokes to be able to make about Chilled level 1. I just thought about like he's like Edge and Christian, like about to do a 5-second pose, start the countdown. Like,
so nutty, man. So many energy attacks. I'm just realizing that energy attacks are good with him.
Yeah, like
Orange Fierce Attack.
Yeah, Orange Stare Down.
Like Stack Shot. Like all this shit is just like backbreaking.
Yeah. I like that orange stare down now as a crit. Like, I mean, yeah, it did 5 life cards, but now it does 5 stages, which is easier. And then, like, you get to play a mixed attack suite, which is so cool.
Yeah.
Dude, yeah, he could be sweet with the split damage ones from Black, right? Like Interceptor Barrage and Raging Soul.
Yup.
Oh my gosh, Confident Burst.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Confident Burst.
Let's go.
Oh man, especially if you get to his level 2 and you add the +1 mod, so it's doing 5 stages exactly.
Yeah. All right, bro. Let's not talk about Chilled all night. What else we got? Are we done? What's going on here?
Who are you people?
So when is this set actually supposed to drop?
July 1st.
July.
Yeah.
July 1st. Oh, sweet. So South Kai. So I guess we'll talk about upcoming events since we talked about we gushed over these MPs. I mostly just chilled because we all discovered that he's like much better than Bardock is, and
well, because all three of us want to play him immediately.
Yeah, like him and Kami are completely different, so I won't judge them the same. But he's definitely like Bardock's like, I want to do this thing, but Chilled's like, man, son, what I do is just like better in every step.
I do everything.
You think you can come? He just looks at Bardock. He's like, you think you can come from the future and act like fucking hot shit? I don't fucking think so.
All right. So South Guy coming up July 15th, Slidell, Louisiana. Kreitz, you're actually going to be able to go to that, right?
Yeah, I'm trying my best to get out there. I think that it's like 80% sure that I'm going. It's an 8-hour drive for me, so it's not too bad. It really just comes down to if I can find other people that are interested to come, or if I really just want to make the trek by myself. It's really the deciding factor. But I think worst comes to worst, I'll probably just go by myself because I really do want to check out South Kai, especially with all these new cards. Like, it's gonna be nuts.
Yeah. So after that is Supreme Kai, July 29th in Fargo, North Dakota. North Dakota, eh? You gotta go down to the Taco John's and Dwayne's Best Pizza, eh? But Fargo, you have Supreme Kai, July 29th, and then of course you have Grand Kai, which is a Gen Con, which I think hopefully we're all gonna go. Kreitz, are you going to Gen Con or no?
As of right now, no.
Yes.
I know Wayne keeps saying yes.
Yes, we will be there.
We gotta find a way to get you there.
We can figure it out.
We'll figure it
out. We will
Yeah.
figure it out.
We need you. KMD's got a rep.
KMD.
That's right.
KMD. That's what it's all about. So, with these upcoming events and our initial impressions of all the MPs and cards that we've seen so far, what do you guys kind of expect to see with all the events that are coming up? Like
as far as like MPs that are going to be played, because all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, there's so many.
Like, especially with like
I will say this.
Good.
I will say that people have been playing more Octagon. So normally when a new set would come out, there wouldn't be much of a change. People would just play what had done well just because people are still trying to figure shit out. I think that now, because Octagon is a thing, and as soon as we get the images, people are testing with it, they'll be ready the first tournament after these cards are like legal. So I just think there's going to be a quick turnaround now versus like what happened in the past.
Which is it's really funny to me because like the reason why, like, whenever I was, like, when I was successful last year, like, when a new set dropped, like, the reason why was because I was actually playtesting that set. Like, of course, like, it was a pain in the ass because I had to print out proxies and cut out proxies, but, like, that's what I was doing. Like, I was figuring out different stuff in the format really early, like, and then able to determine what's good, what's bad, and, like, it's kind of a shame that people are, like, now doing it, where it's, like, whereas if they would have just done it before, you wouldn't have had that situation where after set 4 dropped, you had the event in Texas that had 50 Namekian decks. Like, that just wouldn't have happened. Like,
and I can attest that shit really happened. Like, I remember, I forget what ARG we were at, Matt, but they were like, yeah, Coombs just killed somebody on turn 2 with Orange Roshi. I was like, how? Everyone was like, how the fuck did he do that? Roshi had just came out. I'm like, what the fuck does Roshi do? Got people, like, reading Roshi over again to make sure that they didn't just misalign and shit. It was crazy. So that's something really cool.
You see me sit down with my dinky ass Orange Adept Mastery. What is this kid doing? I only used it for the shuffle trigger. That's it.
Oh, speaking of Roshi, not to go back and hop on Chilled's dick again, but Is charged chill a thing?
It might be. In PvP charge chill? Maybe.
Yeah. Not to get you super excited about two things that you like.
He almost makes it like rapid attack.
Yeah. I don't know. Just something that popped in my head while we're talking.
I've already been in the laboratory brewing decks for everything so far, so the last thing, like, honestly, like, thank God I have, like, some amount of free time, because, Jesus, like, chilled, I'm going to be writing all the lists in the world. We send them to you, Kreitz, and Wayne all the time.
Yeah, I mean, I'm fine with that.
I'm playing black, bro.
Dude, you can play any color.
Play whatever you want. That's what's great.
Playing black.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that no one else can play Black Chilled, but I will be playing Black Chilled.
I'm just saying that if I walk into an event and see you playing Black Chilled, I'm gonna slap it.
I'm not doing the thing when I'm gonna punch anybody I see playing Black Chilled in the nuts, but that's what I'll be doing.
I'm just not gonna go on record saying that.
For that. We need to make a name for that, like when you like just straight like claim an MP.
I think that is the pre-science.
I think that is pre.
It needs like a short, tight name. Don't worry, I'll figure it out. Don't worry. Next episode.
Dude, I think I am going to start, like, I think I'm just going to buy generic energy drinks and then just get a label for pre-science. KMD pre-science.
Get your pre-science here.
I'll start selling them at Gen Con. Get your pre-science. KMD pre-science, son. Another one. We the best.
Word. All in all, I know it ran a little long, but I think that this was a pretty interesting cast. For the first time, you know.
First time, yeah. Right?
Yeah. Little rapist pirates running around. Daddy came by, you know.
God, we saw.
God was just shaking his head. Yeah. He was just like, "What is going on here?"
Rediscovered our faith, but then it was ruined by a rapist.
Yeah,
that sounds like most tragic stories. I'm so sorry. My bad. Anyways, it's been real KMD pre-science. Check it out. You can find it at your local Target, Walmart. We the best.
KMD.
KMD. Look out for that mixtape. KMD mixtape's gonna be fire, son. But anyway, this has been Matt, and hopefully...
Get our names, bitch? Like, wait! I thought we would all get Matt.
We would all go around and say, this has been, this, and then say something.
All right, my bad. Do it again.
This has been Matt and his hype squad.
Do it again. Take two. Do it again.
This has been Matt, and I had a really good time on the cast tonight, and I look forward to doing more of these, and I hope you guys enjoyed it too.
The kid over here, I'm still the shiznit, TN all day, slug if you're nasty. And I'll catch you guys next time.
Yeah, and this has been Kreitz too. Don't forget to check out Fancy Warriors Gather, updated 3 times a week. Other than that, I guess we'll see you guys later.